Hello, and welcome back to The Sponge. I'm Mike Shaw.
And I'm Jordan Whitrock. Now, before we start today's episode, let's hear a quick word from our sponsor.
If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. It's free. There's creation tools that will allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Also, Anchor will distribute your podcast for you, so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and many more. You can also make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. Thank you.
All right, thanks for listening to that ad for us. First, we'll start off with some politics with Jordan.
All right, so this past Tuesday was the day the Democratic Party had been waiting for since Trump took office. It was Super Tuesday. After the 4 recent dropouts from the Democratic Party, Biden won overall with 10 states, taking Texas, while Sanders placed second with 4 states, but he won the heavy delegate state of California. So they're really close because California is such a big state that he's still in it. So we don't know exactly who's going to win, but with all the endorsements that Biden has gotten, people are saying it's going to be hard for Sanders to make that ground.
Yeah, I was hearing that too. If I remember correctly, Elizabeth Warren has not given out an endorsement yet, but I'm pretty sure people are predicting that that will go to Biden.
Yeah, and again, I think she hasn't because technically what she was running on kind of lines more with Biden, but if they're looking at who has the best chance
to go against
beat Trump in that sense, like she might go with Biden to bring her supporters.
That makes sense. All right, so there's a new movie out. So on the 6th, the movie The Way Back came out. The movie is about a widowed former basketball all-star who lost his family foundation in a struggle with addiction and attempts to come back, becoming a coach of a desperate, ethnically mixed high school basketball team at his alma mater.
Yeah. There are a lot of movies like this that have come out, and they do show that people like to go and watch them. But again, I don't know if I'm going to go to this film. I'll probably wait for it to come out, I guess, in a sense.
Yeah. It's definitely one of those more dramatic ones. I remember seeing the trailer. I think it'll have some humor to it along with the drama. But it's like a sports comeback story.
Yeah.
Where like the team's coming back as he's like restoring his life from addiction.
Yeah, I don't know. It'll be interesting, I guess, in the sense I'll keep a keen eye on it going forth. So that will next bring us to sports. So Stephen Curry came back this Thursday and dropped 23 points after missing 58 games due to his broken hand. And I know there's a lot of controversy over him coming back. A lot of people are just saying, just stay out the rest of the season, rest up, and then come back. But I know the Golden State fans want something to cheer for because they're not doing good this year with Thompson out also.
Yeah, and I'm sure he's happy to be back and happy that they're putting him in and not benching him the rest of the season. Whenever I've been out with an injury, you just want to get back out there and play and help your team.
Yeah, they put him in. So like obviously he's had the rehab and all that stuff, but they put him in the G League, and I guess he just destroyed it, and obviously was feeling healthy going forth. Yeah. So that's why they put him.
It's a good way to build up confidence back in your ability too, especially after.
Yes, and they played the Raptors, just for the team, and that was a big deal too because that was the team they lost to in the finals last year. Right. So I know there's a lot of talk, but also the Raptors have been on a losing streak, so a lot of people thought that this was going to be their turnaround game. So I guess they'll have to wait for their next game.
That's true. All right, so next is our question of the day. So.
Oh yeah.
All right. So, what is something that you judge people for? Like judging a book by its cover.
And this is no offense to anyone, but honestly, for me,
what's your pet peeve? Is probably
exactly. For me, it's like when I see people in pajamas in public, like walking to stores, it's just like. I don't know. I feel like you should just put normal clothes on. Like, if you're going to the trouble of going outside, you might as well put on, jeans or at least something, sweatpants, and not.
That's true.
Yeah.
Like I could understand wearing pajamas, but I don't think I would ever personally wear pajamas out in public.
Yeah, I don't know.
Hey, unless it was pajama day at school.
Yes, although still I never wore pajamas.
I don't think I ever did either.
I think like we'd be in class or whatever. Everyone have their pajamas. I'm in my jeans or whatever.
Oh, it's just what I. Those are my pajamas. I swear.
And that's why I think that's why I also started to just wear sweatpants all the time when I went to school. Play it safe, like I would just sleep in my sweatpants.
Yeah. I think what really bugs me is I hate when people are just like in class or in a random surrounding when people are just making random noises or like tapping on a desk.
I got you.
But like especially when I'm taking like a test or trying to focus and all I hear is like a clicking of
I
pen.
was gonna say the clicking of the pen. That's annoying. Also when we talked earlier, you said you hate when people eat with their mouths open.
That's true. When people masticate with their mouth open.
Ooh.
It's a vocab word.
No, I agree with you though. It's not even. It's just disgusting.
It
period.
is. Like I don't think anyone has to see that. Like the only time I can understand it is if you're like sick and you cannot breathe through your nose, but you don't have to chew. You can take a break, breathe, and then close your mouth and chew again.
Okay. You know another pet peeve? When you're driving, right, and they don't turn their blinker on. Oh, that's so frustrating.
That bugs me. Yeah.
Because first off, you don't know if they're turning, and they just slow down for no reason, and
yeah.
But that really is annoying.
My pet peeve while driving is, so like the key with driving is like you just have to be confident. Like hesitation is just unsafe. So like you get to like a 4-way stop, and like one person obviously gets there before you do.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
And they still wave you. Like, no. You got there first. You stopped. It is your turn.
Like, what I find is
it just bugs me so much.
What I find is it tends to be older people that let you go. And I wonder if that's like, if they get like, if something happens, with them driving.
They'd get their license
They could get their license taken away. So I know a lot of people that have precautions in that sense. Like when I'm driving on the highway, it's always older people that are going exactly 55 miles an hour. Or it's a new driver, which I get, but that's annoying.
I think as a new driver, I was going a little faster than 55.
Yeah.
Within the speed limit, though, of course.
That's not... What? Okay, if you're not going the speed limit, then you're not within the speed limit.
Well, 5 above is within the speed limit.
Oh, no, I agree. That's how fast I drive. Like, it's always 5 above or 5 under, depending on conditions. So if it's really snowy, screw it. I'm still going 20 miles an hour downtown.
Yeah. It's a straightaway. Like, what's the big deal?
Black ice, no problem.
Nothing. No, he's got nothing on me.
I get those chains on those tires.
But bust out the chains for, like, a patch of black ice and then pull back over and take the chains off again.
I had another pet peeve, but I forgot what it was. I think it had to do with school.
Ooh, okay. I hate it, and it just sounds super weird. So, like, you know how people, like, have, like, tons of cords everywhere?
Yeah.
I cannot stand how disorganized some people are with, like, cords. Or, like, earbuds when they put them in their pockets.
Oh,
and they get all tangled up. Like, there's literally a way that you can do it, and they won't get tangled. I don't know. It just bugs me for some reason.
Well, like, in my room, I have my TV, my Alexa or whatever, my Xbox, my lamp, my fish tank, and everything's into 2 plugins. So I have like the 6 banger that you can plug in anyway. So there's 6 outlets instead of 2. And then I have like 2 more extension cords going out of those. So like underneath my counter thing,
That's
I got
so against fire code.
I have 27 cords. So like, from your stance, if that bugs you, like, I can't deal.
No,
like, there's nothing I can do about it. But I understand you because that bugs me too. And I've tried to clean it up. It just gets messy because you take the Xbox to go to a friend's house or something like that. So.
As long as you're not like throwing cords everywhere and they're like crisscrossed, like if you like organize them so you could just unplug it and like pull it out and you don't have to like untangle it from everything else. Like, for example, like on my desk, my computer's so close to my monitor that like the monitor cable really needs to be like a foot long. But it's like a 3-foot long cable. So I wrap it up and have like a Velcro tie around it so that it's like nice and neat. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Well, so like when I first figured out how to use Bluetooth, that was like heaven. I like all of a sudden it's like no cord like that's running down my chest or something like that's gonna like snag on something and rip my music out or something. Like when that happened, it was like, oh yes. So yeah.
I went to like Bluetooth to listening to music and stuff because when I listened to a lot of music like that, it was always during the summer when I was working. And I just used I hate the feeling of it like on my skin or like just like having it like touch my neck or anything. So I just moved to Bluetooth then and it was just a lot better. And then I went to like truly Bluetooth where there is no wire.
Okay, so question: do you prefer Beats, Apple, or Sony?
Sony.
Sony, yeah, sorry, Sony. My bad.
Well, I think that's a bad question.
Okay, Phil, tell me, Phil.
Okay.
Phil, tell me.
Apple owns Beats. If you did not know that.
Well, okay, I'll be more specific with my question. AirPods, or just like I guess Beat came out with their new AirPod type looking thing. You know, it's not like their Power Beats that has the cord. It's
their Power
cordless.
Beats Pro.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think Sony has their thing that like just fits in your ear.
Yeah, that one has like it's like X, M, and then like a weird chain of numbers and letters. That's I hate how it's labeled. Okay, so I'd prefer it situationally. If I'm going to be like working out or like biking or something and I want to listen to something, I would rather do the Beats or the Sony because they have like the silicone ear tips.
Yeah.
And like you can get them for the AirPods, but it's just like it's not the same. Like I know that the new ones do have the silicone tips, but like it's still like I would just feel uncomfortable wearing them. I think I'd probably go with the Beats, and then like if it was just casual work, probably the Apple AirPods.
Yeah, I think like when Apple AirPods came out, that was like the biggest thing ever.
It was.
It was so overrated.
Literally
though.
the like day after Christmas, the amount of kids that came back to school with AirPods was just absurd.
Like yeah, and it was like people that like generally didn't like Apple products, you know, but it was like the fact that it was so big and everyone had to have it, you know.
Yeah. And like I have a pair and they're nice and convenient for like an Apple device, but I would not recommend getting them if you didn't have an Apple device.
Yeah, I know. That's why I'm an Android boy, so like all that Apple stuff, it's useless. Like I've always wanted an Apple Watch, but what am I gonna use it with? So.
Sorry, I had to check the time.
Yeah, I saw your Apple Watch. Is it really nice, Micah?
It is pretty nice. I can text from it. I can take calls, which is I don't understand like the real purpose, but I have taken calls on it because I can.
Oh, okay. Also, we're not like selling these products, so just so you know,
we're not sponsored. Yeah. We're just discussing.
I mean, if you want to sponsor us, then like, hey,
we're here. We're ready.
The Sponge, capital T, capital S. But yeah, no. So I've had Power Beats. So Power Beats 3 or whatever, Generation 3 or whatever, and like it is kind of annoying to have the cord wrap around my neck or whatever, but it's so much nicer than just having like the really big headphones or a cord.
That's true.
And I'm not one that needs to stay up to date with technology.
Yeah.
So I'm fine with that.
I like as much as I think like later on will I probably buy like the newest stuff. Yeah, once I have money and have a job and such, but I like having like the last generation of tech. So like when the new ones come out,
then get
the ones that were new previous. Yeah. So like when I upgraded my phone, like I have an X now, and now it's like or a 10. I don't know.
And now they have the 11 or whatever coming out or whatever.
But like, I think it's a good way to do it. It saves you quite a bit of money.
Like for me,
especially on an overpriced device, but it's fine.
Well, for me, like, I guess it's not so much the quality because like for my phone, for example, I really only need it to text people or call. Like I'm one of those older people. Like I don't do a lot on my phone anymore than I used to.
I am not an old person.
Yeah.
I use my phone like, you know, I communicate with all my friends and my parents and such. But a major thing that I do with my phone is take pictures. So
I don't take pictures. Yeah.
Because I do take pictures, I wanted to make sure to get something that had like a good camera and good modes and stuff I can do with.
I don't know. I feel like some technology can be overrated though, and they can totally snag you on it.
I
But
completely agree.
also, it's like if we did not, as a society, did not value technology as much as we do, like guys, it would be so much cheaper. Like, let's get on that bandwagon, you know?
Like, true, but, technology has helped advance our society quite a bit. And
Well, no, yeah, but if we all weren't like, oh, we have to get it as soon as it comes out, it would probably be cheaper. So then they get more people to buy it when it comes out.
well, it's that, like, consumer.
Exactly.
Consumer
no, but
mind.
and I'm not saying it's going to change. It's never going to
Yeah,
change.
it's
It's just
not.
how it is. But I'm saying
You're very materialistic
if that's true, yes.
as a society.
But yeah, no. Okay. Also, if you have any thoughts on this topic,
Let us know in the comments on YouTube.
yeah, or you can find us on Twitter too.
Yeah. Just add us on Twitter. We'll see if we can reply.
We also are now on Instagram too, so that's another way you can contact us or follow us either.
All right, so I guess we'll move on to On This Day in History. All right, so on March 7th, 1876, Alexander Graham Bell received a patent for the telephone.
In 1926, the first transatlantic telephone call was made from London to New York.
In 1965, Alabama state troopers and 600 black protesters clashed in Selma during Bloody Sunday. Protesters were beaten and hospitalized because of it.
And then in 2009, despite only being 17 years old, Brazilian soccer star Neymar makes his first professional debut for Santos. So, okay, going off the whole soccer theme or whatever, my brother and I used to play FIFA on the Wii, and
It was a good game.
He always had to be Barcelona because they had the best offense, like the game had or whatever.
Yeah. Like
And
rating wise.
And so I'd always be like Real Madrid, and like of course they had Ronaldo, so like he was the best player overall.
Yeah.
So it'd be like him versus like Messi and all those people.
Mm-hmm.
But then I got smart, and I'm like, well, if he's got such a good offense, I got to pick a team that's got a solid defense, you know?
Yeah.
And then I'll just shut him down right away. So I went with Manchester United, and they had one guy, because I'm not, like, I don't follow, I like soccer, but I don't really follow it. But they had one guy named Evans, and he was just as fast as Messi, and he'd do, like, the bicycle kick, and I finally learned how to defend against it. And so after, like, a week of playing that game, with me figuring out how to stop him, we stopped playing that game. so like after
Did it cause too much conflict in between?
yeah, it's like instead of it being like a 1-1 or like he beating me 1-0, I beating 1-0, it like all of a sudden became like a 3-0 game where I'd beat him because all of his players, he'd get mad and then like slide tackle me and get a red card, so then he'd lose. So like by the end of the game you'd only have 6 people on the field. And so then at that point you're just roasting him, you know, because he can't stop you.
All right, so that wraps up today's episode of The Sponge. Make sure to find us on Twitter and YouTube at TheSponge, one word, capital T, capital S.
Thanks for tuning in.
We'll see you next time.